academia.
Can we talk about?
Can we talk about? Because I agree that we should be talking about something.
Cover page. Hold up. Look at that shit.
I gotta be honest. It's cover pages like this that take me back to like middle school days, reading random ass manga on like, you know, shitty manga sites, and like it reminds me what I love about manga. And it's just like occasionally you just get some godly like art like this that reminds you why you love the character while simultaneously just looking fucking awesome. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Doesn't this kind of bring you back to like edgy middle school days when you're like you'd fucking put a filter on this shit, make it your like cover photo and be like, you just don't understand me, mom?
It's funny. I didn't start reading manga until like high school.
I forgot you are a basic bitch.
I was a late bloomer.
It is so funny how like just like hard dicked you are about anime and manga. Like when I met you, with how obsessed you are with it, I assumed you had been like a lifelonger.
Well, because in my defense, I didn't have the resources to do that, and I didn't.
The resources is the goddamn internet, friend.
Keep in mind, the type of phone that I had. My mom was a strict.
You didn't have a laptop. You didn't have a computer.
I didn't.
Do I gotta check my privilege right now?
I didn't get my own laptop till I was like in high school.
Mind your own, bitch. We had a computer room. We had a computer room in my house. It was a room specifically for a computer, and it was my mom's bedroom also. So I had to fucking sneak in there. I remember watching the entirety of Death Note as a middle schooler. I'd fucking go into that room and just sit there, and then my mom would come in like, all right, I gotta go to sleep now because this is my fucking bedroom and we have one computer, and I'd have to wait till tomorrow to finish Death Note. So don't even come at me with that check your privilege shit. You tell me you didn't have a house computer?
I did it, but it wasn't mine. And
yes,
I didn't remember.
They didn't let you use it?
I played. You know what I did? I played StarCraft and Warcraft on that shit.
I'm never letting you off the hook, bro. You're just not a good enough anime fan, bro.
There's those. Remember those websites? Y6, Y7, Y8. I was playing fucking fan made fucking virus games on those fucking sites.
Shitty ass fucking Newgrounds games or something.
Mo Fun Zone games? Oh yeah, I fucking remember that shit.
What about cool math games, bro?
No, fuck that shit. And keep in mind that we didn't get a fucking smartphone device like this iPhone or Samsung until fucking high school. Okay.
Yeah, neither did I, bro. You don't need a phone to read manga. Like, don't even step to me with that shit.
It's easier. Anyway.
In fact, people who read their manga on a phone, fuck off. If you belittle...
You too? Ew.
If you belittle your manga reading experience to a shitty small screen, fuck you.
You're saying this to someone who literally during high school stayed up all night on the weekends to binge manga. That's right. I did that shit. I would find a manga that I love and binge that shit all night. I binged. Yeah,
I love doing that shit on a big screen, bitch.
Big screen, ugh. You fucking
what do you mean, ugh?
You entitled piece of shit.
Yeah, check your white ass privilege.
I'm sending you to the Liberation Army. Fuck out of here.
All right, so back to the actual chapter. I'll put a fucking timestamp, like skip the bullshit, go here. So I want to talk immediately about Toga's whole thing happening here. So she says, I'm very curious on what you think the once again I've gotten closer to you line means.
I have no idea. I was just like, wow. So I
have some vague ass theories.
I don't even have a theory.
Well, here's my vague ass, like, I have no idea if I'm even fucking warm on this theory, but her form of love is like blood, sucking blood out of people, yada yada, and now she's losing blood. She's feeling what it feels like to lose blood. So my only interpretation maybe of this is this is what she's been doing to people she loves her whole life, sucking the blood out of them. And now she's feeling what that feels like. So I wonder if she's kind of reveling in that. Like, this is what my love is, and I'm feeling what it feels like to other people. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I can guess.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Now, let's talk quickly about So I love, again, this guy kind of being like, we wanted to use her. And again, once again, he's a fascinating villain because he does cry over the loss of human life while still using them. It's to skip to a line later on by it was one of the villain league. I don't remember who, but one of them was like, it's a lot more like a religion than an army. It's like a cultish religion thing, right? Yeah. And I'm glad they brought that up because, again, why did you just message me yes?
I was replying to you.
What? Bro, I am here. We are talking through voices. What the fuck? Get off your goddamn phone. Anyway. Bro, what am I in, a Black Mirror episode right now? Jesus. Did you watch WALL-E where the two fat people were texting when they were right next to each other?
Yeah.
For shame. Now.
You just referenced us to WALL-E, and we're both fat. Wow.
WALL-E is a dystopian future. That's what you're leading us down towards. Now.
Wow. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Red are two fat people texting each other while we're filming a discussion video.
That's not super inaccurate, though. Now, I like this. So I'm already liking. So the guy that's in charge of Feel Good Inc. over here. I'm already liking his character. He's got a very unique vibe, and coming up to this dude's face like, "Oh, idiot! You want me to explain it to you?"
Yo, I was gonna high key. When I read this yesterday, I was gonna message you, be like, "Red, what is each member of Gorillas like? Is there someone who's like this? Because I don't know. I need to know."
I mean, not really. Like, so maybe. I mean, it's not immediately reminding me of any of the members of Gorillaz. I mean, 2D is like a shy British guy. Murdoch, I mean, if anyone, maybe Murdoch. Murdoch is like a really douchey, arrogant, like, prick type. Russell is like a gentle giant type. And then Noodle is cute Asian waifu type. So, yeah, not immediately. But, I mean, what I mostly wanted to talk about was I like their plan here, because I don't know if you picked up on this, but they're filming the citizens defending themselves here. And what I like about this is they have like a multi-pronged plan, right? So like the first one is, okay, Toga can be like a great like news story. Look at this girl who got just shattered by society and the artificial constraints we put on it. Why should we just accept this as normal when this is her normal? It's one of those things where it's like, this is her normal, like you see this with a lot of different movements, you know what I mean? Like people that identify as this or identify as that, they're like, why does society say my thing's not normal? That's what they're kind of trying to push. And I like how they have, like I said, multiple layers of this, because one of their plans here is, we're going to film the citizens of this town defending themselves from the League of Villains. Because remember, what is their main goal here? It's basically the liberation of all quirk usage. They want to make it legal to like any citizen to use their quirk as much as they want. And I think the argument they're trying to place here by filming this is, it's almost like the argument that gun rights people make. You know how they're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like look at these. The citizens are using their quirks and they're defending themselves. Yeah.
Yep. I just had that thought. It was to show that, like,
I love it,
because their whole thing was, look at these people who you don't need. It's killing two birds with one stone, right? It's basically saying, hey, these people are using their quirks to defend themselves for the right of goods, and two, look, we don't need heroes to help us. People, if we normalize quirks, people can defend themselves agast these sources.
And that's a very interesting and I would say pretty flawed argument, because like I see where their argument is, but it definitely is wrong, because here's the thing. Different people have different quirks. So there's some people that couldn't defend themselves. There's some people whose quirks, for example, remember Gentle Criminal, he couldn't be a hero. He didn't get that license because he sucked at using his quirk. He every time he tried to help someone, he made it worse. So the main point here is, I actually don't agree with them, and I agree with the way that society is run in this story, which is just like driving or anything else, you should get a license to be able to use it, because it practically is like having a weapon. And now I understand their point of view is it's part of their biology, but I feel like I feel like it could never work what they're trying to go for. It's mass. They're almost like the people that argue for pure anarchy. There are some people that are literally like, fuck all forms of government. We want pure anarchy. Let ourselves rule ourselves. But every single form of that is proven to be mass chaos. Humans need order. Humans need leadership. You know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And to clarify, I am a lot. If you ever want to know where I'm on the political spectrum, I am technically in the anarchist left section of that, but I don't believe in no government. That's ridiculous. So, because people will call me out on that shit. Like, oh, you saying that we need leadership? What are you, authoritarian? No. It's just, I don't believe in, like, no government, no anything. Free for all anarchy. Because that's when people's just like, you can get a little idea of what anarchy looks like when like a hurricane hits and motherfuckers are like smashing in windows, stealing shit. That's what anarchy looks like.
Bruh, I am dead. I literally dead. I'm rest in peace, Thurman. That shit is fucking funny.
I love you, man. You're fucking hilarious.
That's so true.
I feel like this is why I want to be like either like a speech. I don't know what I want to be a political journalist. I want to fucking just roast motherfuckers with my journalistic abilities, man. That's what I want to be. I'm gonna go back to school for that shit eventually.
I'm gonna go back.
None of this comes back to bite me. Hopefully.
Go back to school for programming.
Get the fuck out of here.
And coding.
You are going to quit. I'm sorry. Programming is so hard. I couldn't get it.
Yeah, that's because you gave him too early.
Oh, no, this is an argument for later, but just to warn you, it's not like making video games isn't like beep boop bop. No, video game. Let me just go. Video game. Oh, now I'm gonna make a video game about a fucking cute little talky blob. It's done. That's not what it is.
I know
bro.
that. I 100% sure I know that. I'm not. I've had this talk with many people, many times.
No, Thurman.
Anyway,
you have fun wasting your family's money.
Hey, that's fine. Their loss, not mine.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I hope you know. I'm harshly trolling you. Of course, I'm for following your dreams. I'm just warning you that programming is hard as fuck. I hated it. I rage quitted so hard on programming.
Woo.
Okay.
Incoming cheese.
So, I also love the line where he's like, "You guys are crazy," and he's like, "No, everyone else is crazy," which is like the classic crazy person line. I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
Oh man, what I love about this chapter so much is this is why Horikoshi is so good. There's so many different personalities. Just like everyone feels different. It's just
this
like
is how you write a fucking cast of characters. Yeah, you have to really have down who these characters are. Look at this compared to Promise Neverland, where every fucking character is the same. You know, it's just like, hello, I am child number 37, and I am going to say a child thing. Well, I'm child number 48, and I'm going to respond to you with another typical child thing to say. Like, you know.
like they're programmed.
Yes, child statement. Child. You know when people do asterisks, like furry speak, asterisk, ooh, nuzzles you, asterisk?
Yeah.
Like asterisk child speech. I don't know. Child speech.
Insert child line here.
Yeah.
Inserting.
And by the way, remember, just as a quick little diss to Promise Neverland, I just dabbed, by the way. You didn't see it, but I dabbed. David was kind of telling me about what the fuck was happening in Promise Neverland. And I heard that they're in some sort of labyrinth or something. And yeah. Just remember what my main critique of it was like a year ago at this point. And it was, this manga is literally a video game. It's just watching people go through a like Zelda-style video game. Like, let's go solve puzzles that have no relevance to the plot whatsoever. It's just wasting time, honestly. I'm just saying, I was pretty accurate on that one.
You just have to read it. It's awful.
All right.
It's
now,
garbage.
We haven't even gotten to the best part of this fucking chapter. Toga. Not Toga, I'm sorry. Shigaraki.
So I have to comment
the
on this.
Request. Can we stop filming these at 4 a.m.? I'm tired.
That's all on you. You want to stay up.
That's fair. So, Oh, wait, no, you know what we do have to talk about before Shigaraki's godliness? You, last chapter, were getting mad salty about the possibility of this chick being dead. Well, guess what? She's dead.
She's dead. Wow.
And, who called that? Who called that? Who fucking called that?
I mean, I wasn't really salty. I was just saying it'd be disappointing if she died.
And I was like, wrong. She's literally just a CEO of a rich company. Don't make me fucking do this again. Don't make me do this.
And then I schooled you with your own logic towards the end of that.
No.
Yes, I did, bitch. Yeah. Should we go back and show? And shall we go the footage? Bitch? Huh?
I'm just saying, man, like, they're not powerful. Like, they're just normal people. You gotta remember, bro, My Hero Academia, they're just people that happen to have abilities. That doesn't mean that they're, like, some of these people, like, I don't know, man. Like, she's just a frail journalist. You think she's, like, working out like all these other heroes? She's not working out. She's not, like, doing endurance training. She's just a journalist that has this Yoshihage Kira ability. When you drop from 50 feet in the air, you're probably gonna die.
Unless you're Yoshihage Kira himself.
Yeah.
Fleb.
He bites the dusta in midair.
Anyway, I want to talk about Shigaraki's ability. Now,
okay, so remember how... Okay, last chapter, you were talking about the quirk evolution shit. I think we're actually going down that path, and I don't know how to feel.
Man, Horikoshi...
Horikoshi's fucking dancing a fine line, and I kind of love it.
That's what I'm saying. Bro, he's doing it. He's pressing that button. You know that 2-button meme, and you have like this guy sweating. That's Horikoshi right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, okay, Horikoshi, you can walk up to this line, but nowhere past it. And then he just puts like one little toe past it. Like, stop.
Horikoshi, like, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, hey, it's like, oh, this will explain. Oh, it's perfect. Blah blah blah. Listen, and this will be a video in the future.
Oh.
I don't mind certain things that people call ass pulls. Essentially, for example, power-ups that...
for example.
things that may seem... Things that...
I want that as a shirt. I'm sorry. Essentially, for example. Am I just too tired? Is that even funny? Like, it's just too many, like, adjectives or something. I'm sorry. Ass pulls, go.
For example, type of situations where power-ups may seem out of nowhere, yada, yada, yada. I will always think that if it was mentioned or hinted at in the series to begin with, it's not an asshole to me. For example,
of course.
If it's stated that you get stronger via emotion or loss, whatever, and you're fighting a villain and you gain a new power up because of that, I'm not going to get upset because the author said, hey, this is how the law works. This is how that ability or this structure or logic works with this character. So I'm like, oh, okay, so he put that to effect. It's the same thing with Black Clover, same thing with Fairy Tail that I hear. Yada yada yada.
Do you think that has this been foreshadowed at all in My Hero, in your opinion?
So yeah, my point. Getting to that is
right. Well, and I'm doing what I should as a partner, which is getting you back on track because you have this thing that you do where you're like you start listing stuff like it's like this in Fairy Tail, it's like this in Black Clover, it's like this. And if I didn't stop you, it'd be fucking 2 minutes later, and you'd be like, it's like this and this. It's like...
Yeah, I love it. Anyway, now, the only thing that I can remember, if you can prove us wrong, go ahead. You guys love trying to prove us wrong.
I love being proved wrong in the comments. Go ahead and do it.
It was never stated that the quirk essentially evolves like instantly like that. The quirk either has to be trained or it has to be a generational thing. Now you could argue,
what I remember, just to kind of just to add to what you're saying, I remember things like them doing the summer camp training to get like because they were like, oh, your quirk's like a muscle, you need to use it and to endure and like do better things with it, right? So I remember like things like the tape guy shooting out as much tape as he could, Mineta like with his fucking head balls, like basically. But I'm trying to remember if any of them got like new abilities, or was it just enhanced, or like?
So they got like I think a few of them. If you go back to the shitty arc from last time, a few of them I wouldn't say it got amps, but they found new ways to utilize their quirk, like Froppy. Use the camos. Yeah, but at the same time, this seems something completely different,
bro.
Right?
And by the way, now that we're talking about that scene, I have to talk about how. Have you ever gotten an erection from art before? Non-lewd art, just pure just art boner.
Yep.
Did this one do it? Cause it.
Yeah, I had to look for it. I thought I was reading Jujutsu Kaisen for a second. Honestly,
I gotta be I can't lie, bro. Like this shot with him, just taking his hand, and you can see his hand go through the dude, like just decays through him, and then he just does a quick sweeping, like, phew, and then they're all disintegrating. I can't even get over how good that shit looks. Like because I'm again 4 a.m. I'm reading this, and I'm like half asleep, and then that shit happens, and I'm like. Oh my god, this chapter is made just from that.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's impressive. You know,
honestly, that's maybe a cover photo.
So getting back to my point, like I said, unlike everyone else, I am very lenient when it comes to certain things, when it comes to manga, and that being what people consider quote unquote ass pulls. So this, I just hope. Because this is what Horikoshi's kind of having trouble with doing, explaining certain things about quirks. So, I mean, all thing he really said was you have to work out, you know, if you work the quirk, it'll get stronger, that's fine. Or, like, evolution-wise, when it comes to, like, children for a generation gap, that's fine, right? But he never really has said anything that would essentially state that in the moment. Like, because you can literally look at the chapter. It's literally showing Shigaraki's like he's saying he's sleepy. He's saying he's seeing stuff. He has a memory.
Well, what's interesting about the sleepy thing is, you know, we remember he's been like not sleeping. Remember, like wasn't it implied that like he hadn't been sleeping in like days because of fighting what's his fuck?
Yeah.
So I almost think that this does feel like one of those like, oh, you know what? It's almost fair, like. Because remember, what he can spin this as is, you know, what did Eraserhead say? Is that, you know, you got to use your quirk. The more you use it, it's like flexing a muscle. It'll get better, right? What has he been doing for like the past fucking month? He's been fighting using his quirk nonstop on name. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Giggy. What was it? Like Giggy something or other? Yeah. Either way, so he's been using it and using it and using it. So like Horikoshi could spin it like just... He's pushed his body so much. And again, I love how he does this because right now, like, Shigaraki's almost on like an LSD trip. He's so tired. I don't know have you ever been that tired? Like where you're so tired you're seeing shit? Because I have.
No.
Oh, okay. So this part of the chapter actually really, really resonated with me because I have one of the... Here, personal story from Red Time. First time my parents ever left me alone, home alone. I don't remember what age I was, but... You know, it was an age that would be acceptable to leave you alone. But it was the first time for me. I was nervous, so I just didn't sleep. And that was a bad idea because I'm home alone. I just refused to sleep. And I started hearing things. Like literally, like, when you're so tired, I don't know why. I'm not going to pretend like I know why. But I would just, like, hear people shouting my name. Like, Red! 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 And it would, like, I would jolt every time I would jump. And, you know, you'd see things like literally like just black spots in your vision. So I love this part of the chapter because it really is like it's a mixture of Shigaraki genuinely being so tired that he's like losing it, and also his and again, like I like that Horikoshi did a really cool thing here where reality is almost blending into like this crazy horror Junji Ito like thing. Because okay, so page 10 here. Go to page 10 real quick.
Oh, keep in mind. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention
I do want to ask you something before you move on to the next topic here. May I ask you? Go to page 10 real quick. No. Hold on. Go to page 10 first. Otherwise, we're gonna lose track of what we're saying here. So page 10. When they're all just like all at once, like crawling over each other, like all these bodies. Blah, I was trying to figure out if that was really happening or if that's part of his vision because that is weird. And then in his vision, they're like black mass blob yada yada. And I just love the way that Horikoshi like is melding reality and his visions and how it's just, he really did a good job at capturing how when you're that tired, the world is just like you can't tell what's real and what's not. I loved that. So anyway, go ahead. What you're saying?
So I forgot to mention this, but at my job, there was a guy who walked in with a Junto Ito shirt.
Oh, respect. Was it the fucking girl with the spiral on the head?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I forgot. I told him nice shirt. I don't think he heard me though. Anyway, yeah, man. So I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna gripe on him too much. I just hope this doesn't become a common recurrence. Because
I think it could be explained by purely saying that he just pushed his body to the limit.
Yeah,
because I mean,
yeah, I would like that because he has been fighting this guy for a month and yada yada.
Yeah.
The only one that still leaves a bad taste in my mouth is the Uraka.
Toga's is a little weird. I'll admit, because this one is semi-believable, but also can we just quickly talk about how crazy OP he is now?
So basically, it's saying that his decay has transmitted to other people he didn't even touch.
Spreading is better, right? So it's like, you ever play one of those games where you're like a virus and you're trying to like spread around the world and shit?
Yep.
Like, I think you can upgrade like your spread ability, like how easy it is to like spread. It's basically like he's just upgraded that, like so now if there's like a bunch of people attacking him at once, as long as they're like making contact, he can basically just touch one of them and all of them will be disintegrated, is how I'm understanding this.
He got his Devil Fruit Awakening.
Yeah. Well, see, and again, I wish that was, because in One Piece, Oda did a masterclass on how to foreshadow stuff like that, which was all the way back in Impel Down. Crocodile's like, oh yeah, those guys are awakened. That's a thing that can happen. And it was just casually mentioned, and everyone was like, what? What the fuck? And then Doflamingo clarified later. That's how you make it feel like it's part of the world. And
yeah,
again, I'm conflicted because you have moments like the summer camp training where you're seeing them doing training to get more out of their quirk, but this just seems a bit farther than that. It's, when you get, like, for example, Todoroki, he got hotter heat. Tape Guy got more tape. Mineta got more sticky balls. It was never something like, now my sticky balls can do this now, So
it seems like he's going like the opposite direction with that. Like instead of them, instead of the quirk just having like maybe the property stronger or it lasts longer. Something
instead
like
of just leveling it up, he's actually like, instead of just leveling it up, they're gaining like a whole new ability essentially.
Yeah, it's like evolving. It's like it's going to the point of like the kid's evolution type shit.
Yeah,
right? Like,
so I mean, like Horikoshi can save this as long as he like has a panel or two where it's like, I mean, I could see a couple ways where he could do it, where he could be like, oh, here's how quirks can evolve, and they can evolve in this way or that way, and it'll do this if you do this, or if he just has a couple pages explaining it and it makes sense, he can salvage this for sure.
Yeah, I just really hope he does.
Well, because I mean, it is true that Horikoshi has been delving into more shonen tropey shit ever since the arc that we all hate. I mean, well, Thurman and I do. I don't know if you guys do, but the just the training arc. What was there a name for that arc?
I think it was actually said
the really, really long, like, Class A versus Class B stuff.
It was the conclusion of the battles. Oh no, I guess that was a Jaimimi mistranslation.
But yeah, so anyway, like ever since that, and then the Deku getting 7 quirks, and now this shit, it is seeming like he's Horikoshi, and to me it feels like he's delving a bit more into shonen tropey shit, right? Where it's like, okay, well we gotta have the powers level up. Okay, well we gotta have the main character get more powers. It just seems a little like lazy, because what I liked about Horikoshi was he did what I like in a power system, where you take a basic idea for a power system and then you give it a lot of room to grow. So a bad writer will give their main character 1,000,000 powers to compensate. It's basically like it's like buying a Hummer to compensate for your small dick, right? Whereas a good writer will take this one base power and expand on that power in ways that make sense. So up until now, he was doing that with Deku. The kicking style, the flicking of the air, all of that made sense within the confines of the quirk that Deku had. And then all of a sudden, just randomly, like, oh, also he has to have more quirks. It just seems so no.
Looks like Hirokoshi's doing a little.
He's dabbling, bro. It's like he's been a vegan his whole life, and then he walked by the fucking like barbecue ribs, and he's like, just one or two, please, just one or two.
It's because remember what we talked about.
That was a good metaphor. You laugh at that.
Remember what we talked about? I think was the One Piece video, or maybe it's just us doing our good conversations. But you said that authors. The reason, it was a One Piece video. We talked about how Oda, One Piece is starting to fucking, do his, starting to his old death situation, and you were just like how authors have a certain threshold to where they gain the trust of the people, and I'm thinking that maybe Horikoshi started testing it. Bro, that's what I'm saying. He's like, I feel like he's one of the kids just like, oh, my fans will stick with me no matter what. I'm gonna start to test the mold a bit. Oof. He's feeding. You feel me on that, right?
Yeah.
Like he's starting to feed the lions a bit.
It did feel like once he got it really did feel like after the Gentle Criminal arc, didn't it feel like all of a sudden? It genuinely felt like someone walked into Horikoshi's office and was like, all right, it's official. You've been popular for long enough. You basically have a spot secured, so you can do whatever the fuck you want. You feel me?
Yo, that's so... that's... Oh, my God.
Look, I feel like that's what happens. I feel like when you start your manga, you have to be really careful, and your pacing has to be tight as fuck, and it's, like you got, like, the fucking CEO, like, eyeballing you every day. But at a certain point, it's like, all right, you've officially gained Togashi/Oda status. You can do whatever the fuck you want, and we don't care.
It's so funny, too, because... If we look at the history of Jump and certain manga that made to like 200, there's certain manga that still got axed at like 200. So I think the editor is just like, all right, your volume is selling good. You got a new movie coming out. All right, do whatever the fuck you want. We don't care anymore.
No, there definitely is a moment where they start to trust the author, where it's like, okay. But see, that's the George Lucas effect, right? So George Lucas, the first 3 Star Warses people loved, but that was before he was like stupidly popular, so he still listened to people around him. But then the prequels that suck, that was when George Lucas was like, he was seen as like this movie god, so no one gave him advice. So like, it's very easy to fall into the trap of just like Now I'm not saying he is, but it does feel like something like, again, I would argue that up until Gentle Criminal, like and through Gentle Criminal, because I love Gentle Criminal to fucking death, through that arc, I would argue that My Hero Academia was damn near perfect, like perfection. But then it's been shaky lately. It hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been as perfection as it once was. It's very weird. Like
yeah.
And again, like this is still good, but I'm not used to this like level of quality where I'm like questioning Horikoshi, like, does that make sense? Because normally I don't do that. And again, there's probably gonna be fanboys that are like, how dare you question the Lord God Horikoshi? But like, listen, there's something different.
I mean, a true fan will notice an author's difference in writing style. Yeah. So, I mean, who's the real true fans now, huh, motherfuckers? Yeah. The ones who just will fucking ride his dick all the way to fucking home. or the ones who are like, okay, did you clean your dick? Did you clean it? Did you wash
disgusting. I don't want to hear
before you write it.
You took that to a direction. Oh, dude, there's gonna be at least one more comment that's like, oh, this channel's going downhill.
Bro, I am proud of that.
You're proud of our channel's gone downhill comment.
No, I'm talking about. I'm proud of the comment it's made. That shit came out of nowhere.
Proud of the dick metaphor.
Yes, I'm proud of that. That was genius, in my opinion. I maybe took my own horn.
And then you scoffed at my barbecue ribs vegan comparison. I thought that was hilarious.
No, but I'm saying it's me. I'm not very good at these types.
Typical Thurman. When it doesn't include enough dick, he's not into it. Oh shit! All right. What did you think about this little? So we have a little flashback here where he's because it's been implied that like all of his memories, not even implied, it's basically stated his memories before meeting All For One are like nothing or fuzzy, right? But he's getting this like memory of, I assume, his sister, unless I'm being an idiot. Yeah, probably his sister. It's like, oh hey, here's our grandma, right? And obviously this is All Might's whatever the fuck, teacher, mentor, yada yada. And we learned this, of course, because All For One was like, lol, just to fuck with you. I did that. So where do you think this is going? And maybe does this tie into the quirk evolution? Because I guess they could be going down the route of like big emotional things could do it as well. Because it does seem like it was the same thing with Toga. And I like the Horikoshi's doing this with the League of Villains, where like each one of them is getting like a big character moment, and then their quirks grow. So it's almost like a metaphorical, like their characters growing and their quirks are growing. So maybe is that what he's going for?
I wouldn't mind that, but
but it has to be established, and it never was.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I would like that, but right at this very moment, if that was the case, it would technically be called an ass pull.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's unfortunate, but we have to be fair.
Yo, Thurman spitting facts right now.
Technically be an ass
I
pull.
love Savage Thurman right now. It's unfortunate.
That would be an L for My Hero Academia. Sorry.
I'm imagining you like walking up to Horikoshi, cracking your knuckles, like, it's unfortunate, but we gotta acknowledge facts.
It is
like a mob boss.
Trust me.
It's very unfortunate that it had to come to this, Horikoshi.
Trust me. These people become very biased and blinded when it becomes their own series. But when it comes to other series, I guarantee you, if fucking what's a new series that's popular right now? If it was like Dr. Stone or Kimetsu no Yaiba or Black Clover or whatever, and it's this shit like that happened, you bet your ass there'd be a bunch of people saying,
once you there's actually like an interesting psychological thing that happens with that, where people get so emotionally invested into a series that they don't want to admit if it's like gotten bad or something. And again, not saying this has gotten bad, but just saying, like, that is a true thing, right? So, like, when people are that emotionally invested in, like, this is happening right now, calling you out, Catherine, my best friend's girlfriend. She is, so I'm hearing nothing but, like, shit about the new Game of Thrones. Have you heard about all this, like, negative shit about Game of Thrones recently?
Yeah, I've heard negative things.
Nothing but negative shit. And then she's over there like, no, it's good. And she spends like an hour explaining to me why it's still good. And I'm like, you're just too invested. You don't want to admit. Like every YouTuber I follow that I respect has like been saying it sucks ass. So like, I'm like, really? Is it still good? I don't know.
So it's the same way here. We have to be fair. I mean, to play devil's advocate here, it's a good thing.
I'll play God's advocate.
It's technically a good thing that he's establishing this shit now. Although I don't know why it took him to 227 chapters to establish this type of thing now.
Yeah.
But better late than never.
It's gonna have to be clarified. It's gonna have to be fully clarified, and that'll be my final take on that. Is that he has to have like a page or two where it's like, here's the science of quirks and why they change and yada yada yada. I also like that he's like vomiting too. Like he's like super sick.
It wouldn't.
Like, I love how, like,
some Rick.
What's up?
Some Rick level shit.
I didn't even think about that. That kind of ruins it. No, but, like, he's just so sick and delirious, and I love this because, like, I don't know, like, he's just so... I've been there where you're that sleepy, but, you know, I don't have a terrifying-ass ability, so when you're that sleepy and delirious, you're basically, like... It's almost a form of, like... You're not in your right mind, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now, like, I mean, look at his face on the bottom of page 14 here. Like, do you have any thoughts on just that face there that he's making?
Skeleton. Delirious skeleton. Like, he's just over the world.
Yeah. Well, I guess final thing I'll say is, Dobby
fight!
Dobby fight! I was just watching this bro moment, bro. And he's fighting an ice boy? Is that what I'm understanding? Yep.
Yeah, so, oh boy, we're going to find out if he's actually related to Endeavor or not.
Yeah, it's time, bro. Like, okay, can we just talk about this? I don't know how Horikoshi did this, but Horikoshi alone, himself, is literally making a case study of, like, how to do an arc right and how to do an arc wrong, side by side. Have you realized this? Like, he's doing the same thing he did with the A class and B class, but with the villains, but the villains are way better.
Mm-hmm.
No, like, is that not fascinating to you? Like, the pacing's the exact same. Like, I was just noticing this. The fact that he's doing this again, and now, you know, it's like, okay, we just did the 1v1 with Toga, and now we're setting up a 1v1 with him, and I was realizing, oh my god, because remember, I'll take the L on this. Remember what my theory was? I was like, oh, this fight's going to last 1-2 chapters max, and then we're going to get back to plot. And I was like, no, he actually is doing the 1v1 stuff that you wanted him to. And remember, we wanted him to do that with the heroes, but then he just drug it out, and it wasn't that good. So I guess my question to you is, why is it so good here, but it wasn't as good with the A-class, B-class?
Because the A-class, the thing was that, and I think I said this during the time, was that what I wanted was not so. I wanted the focus on characters that we don't know much about.
Like we're doing now?
Yeah, right. Like I want to focus on the guy with the multiple arms. I want to focus on fucking Mineta, the fucking Tailbot, Invisible Girl. I want to see them have the moments.
At least we got Mineta like flying face first into some boobies.
Yeah. But I mean, what do we get? We got more showings from Momo, which we already saw. We got more showings from Deku, Uraraka. We got more showings from
Mushroom Todoroki. Girl, surprisingly MVP'd.
Yes, it's just like we got basically Horikoshi hold the characters that we wanted to see more from. But here he's not doing that. He's basically giving characters that we know of, but no sure about. Like Toga, we've seen her fight, but we've never actually seen her, her as a character that's like here. Yeah. And Dabi is a character that people he's like an fan
favorite somehow. He's one of those. Do you notice that in every series, a fan favorite emerges even when they've done nothing?
Yeah, Broly.
A character that's like shown up like once or twice and somehow becomes a fan favorite. And I was astonished by the amount of Dabi fandom. Like when I was like, why? Who cares? He's so boring. Now he's getting better now, but back in the day, I'm talking like a year ago when like there was all this Dabi fucking hype, and I was like, what?
The hype is a dangerous drug.
Yeah.
So it's just
to add to what you're saying, what he's doing is what I like for an author to do in a shonen, right? Because I like fights, but I don't want fights to just be there to be fights. So a lot of the fights with A-class versus B-class were just time-filling fights. They were fun to watch, but they felt very There wasn't a lot of like character drama attached. Some had that. The ones that were the most interesting were the ones that did have character drama. Whereas these fights, they are all fights that mean something to the characters. They're not just there to be fights, to be pretty action, to be looked at, but so far, all of the action has done something for the characters. So with Toga, she's fighting, she's not just fighting some random person, she's fighting a journalist that wants to use her as a hit piece for, not a hit piece, I may have misspoken, as like a cover story for their cause. And, like they're having this conversation while fighting, and it's a beautiful thing that only a shonen, not only a shonen, but shonen manga does it the best, where it's like fights, it's a fight, but it's not just a fight. Like it's not action just to be action. It's action to push more character. I can't think of how to word it, but you know what I mean, right? Where like it's a fight happening, but it's not just a fight to be a fight. Like it's the beautiful melding of deep storytelling and mindless action into this beautiful thing. That's what I love about shonen. The best shonen will take stupid action. The best shonen can take a rubber dude fighting a donut dude and make that emotionally impactful. That's a Katakuri Luffy reference. That's what I love about manga. I stumbled over my words there, but my main point is Horikoshi's doing what I love with fights, which is he's making them emotionally impactful while making them awesome fights. Whereas some manga just like, here's your fight number 5, enjoy. Just you enjoy your mindless action, So I like what he's doing with this because it's character driven.
And keep in mind, that's not a bad thing, depending on the manga, but,
I would say, Super Eye Patch Wolf made a good point where it was like, he showed like a gif of like a really well animated fight, and he was like, okay, so here's 2 characters, you have no idea who they are, and it's a really, really good fight. But are you that emotionally invested? Are you on the edge of your seat going like, oh wow, oh my god, right? No, because these are 2 characters that you have no idea who they are, and they're just fighting. The fight's good, but you don't know the characters. But when you know both the characters, when you know the reason that they're coming to that fight, what they're fighting for, what victory means for this person, what loss means for this person, when you know all those things, all of a sudden a fight is more than just its choreography. A fight is consequences. A fight is, I'm fighting for this, you're fighting for that. that's what elevates a fight. If you know the characters, what they're fighting for, their character drives, motives, etc., that makes a fight better. And that's why fights between characters that you know and love are way more impactful than two nicely drawn stick figures with a good choreography. You know?
Yep, I agree.
Final thoughts for you, because wow, this was one hell of a My Hero review.
I know I said all I had to say. I don't really have a prediction for next
45 minutes, Thurman.
Wow, I enjoyed this one. I ain't gonna lie.
Me too. Oh, and
9.5 out of 10.
I'm really Thurman. Can I just have a gay ass bro moment with you real quick? I appreciate you.
Same here, buddy.
These are fun. I really, really enjoyed doing these so much. And it just reminds me, these videos remind me of why I love manga so much. It brings me back to young middle school me and why I loved reading manga so much. Hyping over this shit with you literally brings me back to my childhood, and I love it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Thurman. Thank you, the audience that enjoys watching this shit. And thank you, Toga, for being so goddamn yandere, and I love you for that.
And with that,
peace.